Daniel had exactly 11 seconds to decide what mattered most in his life. That's how long the fire gave him before the hallway filled with smoke and he couldn't go back for anything else. He was 34, living alone in a small rented house, working long shifts at a hardware store. Life wasn't exciting. It wasn't easy either, but it was his, and he was quietly trying to build something out of it. It was a Tuesday night when he woke up coughing. He saw orange light flickering under his bedroom door. The house was on fire. He didn't have time to think. He grabbed his phone, his shoes, and without even understanding why, an old wooden box sitting on his dresser. It had been his grandfather's. Inside were just some yellowed papers, a few old coins, and a pocket watch that didn't even work anymore. It wasn't valuable, but something in him grabbed it anyway. By the time the fire department arrived, the house was gone. Everything Daniel owned turned to ash that night. He stood on the sidewalk in his socks, holding nothing but his phone and that old wooden box. For the next few weeks, he stayed with his cousin. He didn't talk much. He just felt hollow, like his whole life had been erased overnight. One evening, out of boredom, he finally opened the box. At the bottom, he found a small hand-drawn map and a letter in his grandfather's handwriting. It explained that decades ago, his grandfather had invested in a small piece of land in the countryside, land that back then was worthless. He'd never sold it, never told anyone, and forgot to pass it along before he died. Daniel almost laughed, but with nothing left to lose, he decided to check it out. It took him 2 weeks to track down the property records. When he finally found the land, he learned that a new highway project had just been approved to run straight through that exact area. Developers were already buying up land nearby. The land his grandfather left behind wasn't worthless anymore. It was suddenly one of the most valuable pieces of property in the region. Daniel sold part of it for more money than he'd earned in his entire working life. He used the rest to build something of his own, something stable enough that he'd never have to worry the way he used to. Looking back, he still doesn't understand why he grabbed that box instead of something that seemed more important. But he says it taught him something he'll never forget. Sometimes the thing you save without thinking ends up being the very thing that saves you.